and I didn't go for that. So what was he going to do? I mean, any kind of like sudden departure or weird move was going to make it look more suspicious, in my opinion. And then for me, I actually kind of wanted to know a little bit more about what was going on, and I also wanted to know if in any way was something might help the situation with my son. And as time went on a little bit, it's not that our personalities weren't compatible, because we actually did laugh a lot, and we had the same sense of humor, even though we were from different countries and didn't always speak the same language. And sometimes he acted like he definitely really, really liked me. So I mean, I started to care about him. And I started to care about him more in a very genuine sense. And then we were like intimate with each other every single day. And so then that was going on every day. And I later started to have the idea, though, that he was doing something with someone else too on the side. And at first I said, well, if we're engaged, make sure this is what you want to do. And I wasn't really holding him to it. But I basically told him, as soon as things get serious, like really serious, I basically said that then I would be expecting him to not be checking other people out or doing other things, and I would expect him to be fully committed to me. Because I don't need rumors going around, I don't need unfaithfulness, I don't need an unhealthy situation where he could be with somebody and then be with me, and it's not safe for my health. And I don't need the humiliation either. So I basically first kind of gave him a lot of leniency, gave him a lot of slack on the bridle, and said, figure out for sure that this is what you want to do. And then after he said that's what he wanted to do, then I expected him to keep his promises. If he's told me that he wasn't going to be with anybody else, I expected him to be honest about that. If he had for some reason been gay or something, I for some reason had a little more tolerance for the idea of, well, it's not another woman. I mean, it's not like I wanted that, but I had a little more tolerance for the idea that it was a different situation, kind of a thing. But just having me as part of, one of many was not what I was looking for, especially if I was going to be engaged and ever sign any kind of papers. So here he had done this weird thing of, and then after I said, I'm, because I trust you. Then, okay, and get this, here's the other thing. When we first were intimate, it was after, basically, I almost did get assaulted, and then Henry called. Like, Henry was right there in the room and could hear everything, and he just decided to call at that moment. So if it is the FBI basically set me up for everything. And I know for a fact that Alvaro said he did work with the FBI. So it's like, FBI probably really wouldn't want people to know that they were trying to keep me out of court and from contesting something that damaged my reputation. And that they were locking doors on me so that I couldn't sleep in my own room and was forced to sleep with him. I mean, the FBI probably doesn't want that kind of an image. And then all of a sudden they're bringing in this other guy to try to entrap me into marriage fraud. So the guy called, the man who the guards knew. He called me when I was in bed one time. I was like working on my computer in bed, sitting up in bed, clothed or whatever. But I remember that's where I took my call. And he said that he wanted, he started talking to me about my whole situation, and then I heard Chris Dabney's voice in the background. And I kind of thought, why am I hearing Chris Dabney's voice in the background with this guy who's a cop who just tried to set me up, when it seems to me that Alvaro was looking like he was participating with that. He was helping. So I'm not sure if maybe there was a certain point where he changed his mind and he decided he really did like me, genuinely. Like if he was trying to do counterintelligence for the FBI, because I had already gone to the embassy of Iran and talked to them. So it's very possible, the FBI likes to set things up and make it look like, and CIA too, they like to make it look like one group's helping you, like maybe Colombians, but really they know all the people. So I wasn't sure, if he initially was trying to frame me into something, and then he decided he really did like me, or what, or maybe he was just a really, really good actor, and maybe down the line, way down at the end of things, he was really going to screw me over. I mean, I started to trust him a little bit more, that he did have actual genuine feelings for me. But because of some of these other weird things that had happened, I always thought about those other things. I mean, as anyone would. And the fact, and looking back at how the FBI treated me when I didn't get married to him is a pretty good indicator of FBI complicity and their unwillingness to assume responsibility for anything. They basically try to set me up, take my son, have us tortured, make all kinds of promises about all kinds of things. And then when it comes down to it, then they just allow me and my son to continue being tortured, literally. And where's my son? They adopt my son out while the FBI knows I'm being tortured after I don't, marry their employee. I think that later he was working for I believe he was working for the headquarters, probably for the DC FBI headquarters, because one time I called and asked if he was there. I said Alvaro Pardo to see what the response was, and the guy flipped out. Why did you want to know? I mean, nobody acts that weirded out unless really Alvaro Pardo has been visiting the FBI headquarters, and someone's freaked out that I might have had the idea that I should call and check